Richard III. He reigned for just 2 years and was much maligned when the history was written. Yet now the focus of global interest, having hit the headlines in 2012 when his remains were discovered beneath a car park in Leicester city centre. His life and the discovery of his remains create an intriguing tale, one told many times in many different versions in books, podcasts, documentaries, and even more recently in a film dramatisation, The Lost King. And it's also the subject of this Travel Editions escorted tour. This tour appeals to all sorts of people, and many come with an already heightened level of interest.
Probably my favourite book of all is Josephine Tay, Daughter of Time. That's given me an absolute fascination with Richard III.
I've just read Cecily about Richard III's mother, a piece of fiction, so I was just fascinated to find out a little bit more about his life.
She's in love with Richard III. I've been sharing this man all my married life, so...
Accompanied throughout by historian Julian Humphreys, I asked him which came first, the tour or the film.
The tour's been going for about 10 years, in fact. We decided to do it before Richard's remains were even found, and it just so happened that when we organised the tour, they were found.
Wow, that was lucky then.
It was, yes. Lucky for Leicester,
yes.
Over the years, the tour has developed and changed because over that time, you've had the burial of Richard, you've had the development of this visitor centre that's here, there's been changes at the battlefield. So it's great for me to do because there's always something new to see on it.
Based for 2 nights at the 4-star Hilton Hotel in Leicester, after drinks and dinner on arrival, Julian provided the all-important context with his lecture on the Wars of the Roses. Our first morning was spent at the Richard III Visitor Centre, opposite the cathedral and on the famous spot where his remains were discovered, now brilliantly preserved for all to see. The visitor centre covers both the history of Richard's life and legacy, as well as the incredible story of the dig itself. I have to say the visitor centre is really excellent, one of the best I've seen, whether you know very little about Richard III or you want lots of detailed information. So we've had plenty of time there, but also time to explore Leicester city centre. Everywhere you go in this city, there's always reminders of Richard III. A visit to Bosworth is also included. After exploring the Heritage Centre, we were battle ready to take the trail to Ambion Hill, which overlooks the battlefields. Before taking a short drive to the actual field where it's thought Richard was slain.
Tudor's troops advance. So Henry Tudor's troops are advancing essentially from Warwickshire in that direction.
Back at the hotel, our second lecture came from Matthew Morris, Archaeological Project Officer for the University of Leicester. His personal, detailed insights were very much appreciated by the audience.
He was in charge of the archaeology and the excavation on the site, so I thought it was a real privilege to be able to listen to him speak.
The second day of the tour is dedicated to exploring some of the sites beyond Leicester connected with Richard III, starting in Fotheringay village and the ruins of the castle where he was born, and the church where he is remembered. With a delightful lunch in between at the Talbot Inn in the historic town of Oundle, we also spent time at Kirby Muxloe Castle, William Hastings' unfinished masterpiece, providing the perfect venue for Julian to elaborate on the social history of the medieval period, and where I had the chance to ask some of the group for their thoughts on the tour.
Julian, you know, he's our guide and super lecturer. As somebody said, he hides his knowledge well, you know, because it just comes out and it's spontaneous and funny and makes you want more.
The way it's put together with the coach tours, it takes all the pressure off you. It's all well organised, plenty of time.
It's, you know, just advertised as a couple of nights kind of thing, but it's amazing how much they can pack in the time. Yeah,
It's been brilliant, yes, yeah.
Yeah, well, I found it very interesting, even though, you know, he's my rival, but yeah, fascinating.